The United Nations, at the beginning of the year, adopted a general comment on science. Science is present in a variety of international instruments of human rights, from the Universal Declaration to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. But it's not so clear how, when we speak about science as a right, as a human right, governments and individuals should behave. So now we have this general comment, which will be adopted in 10 days at the UN in Geneva, that details the ways in which government should do their best to implement Article 15 of the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. It is a document that, among other things, includes several of the issues that we will discuss today and tomorrow. In particular, it will mandate governments to set up a national strategy on science. So in addition to all the other obligations that countries have in terms of human rights, there is this one which is brand new and brand clear. You have received some gadgets in addition to the invitation, of course, and you will see that we have done our best to try and detail what the right to science is. You have it in your bags, you have it in your other literature inside the bag, but mainly has to do with three things. Freedom of research, regardless of the topic that is being researched. The necessity to share the knowledge that comes out of that research. We should be as free as possible. Free meaning not necessarily with charges, but also free because it shouldn't have boundaries. We are now facing the coronavirus crisis. If the person that identified the virus would have been allowed to tell the world on that very day that he had identified the virus, perhaps things could have been managed in a better way. Unfortunately, he wasn't allowed to share his discovery in the way in which he discovered, sharing it not only with national institutions, but also the international community, because a lot of scientists were studying this virus. Last but not least, and this is also the most important part, at least for us today, of the right to science, is the title that we have chosen for our Congress. If we can put perhaps the banner on the screen, which is the right to enjoy the benefits of science. With this, we hope that legislators, decision makers, international organizations, regional organizations will update their national norms to try and allow everybody the best possible enjoyment of the latest developments of science. And we have articulated those latest developments into 4 panels that will start right after the end of the opening ceremony. Not because we want to criticize government that are not doing certain things, but because we want to assist them in their daily work to try and help themselves and also help their citizens to live in a more prosperous world. 2 last things. We are here also to try and contribute to the 2030 UN Agenda for the Sustainable Development Goals. Every one of the 17 development goals should have science as a very potent ally. If you go through the list, you will see that if we are not able to enjoy the latest benefits of science, the enjoyment of those sustainable development goals may be patchy and may not be sustainable at all. And we're also happy to be here, and with this I will conclude my presentation, because Africa, the African Union, has adopted an agenda that looks at 2063. There are technologies that have been invented literally yesterday, so we don't know how the world is going to be in 2063. And I think it's strategically very, very important for the African Union, their 55 member states, to look at the future already preparing it today, because a lot of things that are going on now needs to be taken into consideration for a Pan-African and prosperous future, not only for this, that between now and then is going to be one of the most populous parts of the world, but also for us. I come from Europe. There's people coming also from the United States of America and Asia. For everybody, the more we are free, the more we are free also to enjoy what talent and intelligence can give us, the better will be for everybody. We will have an opening ceremony where the host and the Secretary General of the Associazione, Luca Coscioni, that for 16 years has acted as the permanent secretariat of the World Congress, will speak. Then we will break for a photo opportunity. There's stairs behind us, and then there's coffee, and then we'll reconvene with additional messages. I am, before giving the floor to Sarambi Anyang, we would like to recognize the presence in the room also of Professor Roberts, who's Nobel laureate for for medicine, who reached us from the other side of the world. Marco Cappato, who's the treasurer of the Luca Coscioni Association, and also co-founder of Science for Democracy. You can also clap your hands. I think you deserve it. Then we have Lydia Gachungi, which is from the UNESCO. UNESCO is very important for us because we will have a lot of recommendations that have already been adopted in the past, and also UNESCO has adopted the definition of science, which is very important and has also been included in the general comment on science by the United Nations. And last, but certainly not least, Ambassador Berlendi of Italy to the African Union, because we will also have a message from the Vice Minister of Italy later today.